Due to the central geographical location, Hyderabad has naturally become center of province. Towards north is Saro, which is also called Uttar, and towards bottom lower side of the province is the famous area called Lord. Besides, on the one hand, there are mountainous areas called Kacho and Kohistan, and on the other side, there are deserts of the Thar and Kutch. Thus, Hyderabad enjoys prime location from all four sides of the province. Since this city has ever been culturally strong and graceful, it has faced ups and downs. Nevertheless, it has erected its neck even after every revolution. The city has existed with different names in the past. In 327 BC, the great ruler and commander Alexander the Great of Macedonia Greek attacked and raided Hyderabad city. But the Buddhist ruler of that time, instead of fighting back in a peace maneuver, came out of the fort and welcomed him. In those times, Hyderabad was known as Patala or Patala Bandar. Today, the location where Hyderabad is situated was called Nerun Court. It is proved from the history that the Raja Dahar deputed Sundar Shimni as governor of Hyderabad. Jai Sina, son of Raja Dahar, a Buddha follower, often stayed in Hyderabad because of its beauty and gracefulness. In 712 AD, armed Arab troops captured Sindh under the commandership of Muhammad bin Qasim. In those days, most of the people of Sindh state were followers of Buddha religion. Being the peace-loving people, they welcomed Muslim army. In 18th century, Nerun Court was chosen as capital of Sindh by Ghulam Shah Kalodo and got changed to fence and to fort that gave it a new name, Hyderabad. Famous historian Mir Ali Sher Kanhe has also described poets of Nerun Court in his book Makalat-e-Shura, which gave evidence that fort and city settlement existed before. In 729 AD, Mir Fateh Ali Khan Talpur defeated Kalhoraz and set up Sindh government and start of Talpur era in Sindh. It has set Hyderabad as capital of Sindh. Besides the extension of the city, steps for the further development and betterment were taken. Symbols of the greatness of Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a very old city. Kacha Kila, fort of Kile, and Pakka Kila, baked brick fort are evidence of great times and greatness of Hyderabad. The old ruined fort was reconstructed by Ghulam Shah Kalodo in the shape of the fort, which was now known as Pakka Kila. The Pakka Kila is about 80 feet high from sea level. It has the radius of 1 kilometer. On its thick boundaries are windows and open observation posts. It was constructed in 1762 AD or in 1182 Hijra. A big royal gate was installed in its south. A tablet was fixed right about the gate that read, Ya Rab Aj'al Hazal Baladil Amana, means, O Lord, make it as a city of peace. Ghulam Shah Kalodo, the first ruler, turned the old settlement into new city, Hyderabad, which later became the most famous city. Mirs during their ruling period got further expansion of the fort. All the old and new buildings were expanded and made magnificent. History records tell us that there had been a palace for kings. There were Diwan-e-Aam, House of Commons, and Diwan-e-Khas, House of Lords. These were equally graceful and attractive like Faiz Mahal of Khairpur, which still exists in Khairpur Mirs and is a wonder of the subcontinent. In 1829 AD, Dr. James Byrne, an English physician, visited this fort. He wrote in visitor's book, I have visited the hall which looked like the atmosphere of the Alif Lalvi stories of the past. There had been a strong watchtower erected, which can clearly be seen in the snaps taken in the time of Mir's regime. Unfortunately, all monuments inside the fort destroyed during the British invasion, along with the watchtower was also demolished. Violent incident in the fort. British had chosen the fort as army headquarters. They had kept huge arsenal in it. Great destruction took place upon Hyderabad on April 5th, 1906 AD. It was just like the Ojdi camp incident took place in the Zia era in Pakistan. Ammunition caught fire from itself as a result of high temperature of that hot day between 8 and 9 pm, and within no times flames covered the entire city and booming thuds were audible all around. During this terrible incidents, the people living around Pakka Killa rushed across the Puleli, and the surrounding area of the Pakka Killa was evacuated. After the destruction, British shifted their army headquarters to Kent area. Weapons and ammunition were removed. Along with clearance of the fort, the barn house, drill counts, and water reservoirs were also demolished, which were constructed in Mir's regime. Afterwards, Hindu businessmen and civilian elites were allotted plots where they constructed their houses. Therefore, the interior look of the fort was completely changed. A memorial grave in the fort. There was only one British monument constructed in the fort, the grave of one brave soldier who sacrificed his life for his homeland Sindh. In 1843, British Army commanded by Charles Napier defeated Sindhi troops which were commanded by Mir Nasiruddin. This battle took place at the Miani and Dubo. Although Sindhi troops fought bravely, the British army defeated them, as they were well equipped with heavy ammunition and were trained army. Graves of two brave soldiers who were martyred in those battles are still existing. Among them, one is in Miani and the other one is in the fort. Both martyred soldiers were buried with honor by the British commander. Among those both graves, one of them belongs to Hosh Muhammad Shidi, who commanded Sindhi troops. But it is controversial that which grave belongs to Hosh Muhammad Shidi. Hosh Muhammad Shidi was famous as Hoshu Shidi in those days. During fight, he shouted, Marvesu par Sindh na desu, to boost the morale of his army. Kacha Killa, the fort of Kile. Kacha Killa is another oldest monument of Hyderabad. It is situated in the east of the Pakka Killa and it is at the height of 20 known as Shah Makki. It is presumed that it was also got constructed by Ghulam Shah Kalodo, but inscriptions on the grave give evidence that it existed before 1082 AD. The boundary wall of the Killa is made up of blocks of Kille. There is a big gate for entrance. Shrine is located on the western side immediately at entrance. On it is a multi-level roof. The craft work is carried on tiles of the wall. It is written in the Labbi Tarikh that in the beginning the boundary wall of Kacha Killa was even higher than that of the Pakka Killa. Later on, Ghulam Shah Kardo had their height reduced